Hello, everyone. I'm Omar Aftab, VP of Conversational AI in Copilot Studio. And today, we'll provide a brief intro to Copilot Studio and share a broad overview of just some of our new exciting capabilities. We'll also guide you to deep dive sessions here at the conference where you can explore in much more detail. Let's begin with a brief overview video.
Agent experiences and make them available instantly wherever users are across multiple channels. Simply click to create an agent and describe what you want it to support, providing instructions about behavior and point it to a knowledge source such as a website to further infuse it with data. That's it. In just 3 simple steps, your agent is instantly capable of rich, multi-turn conversations. Since Copilot Studio is a full end-to-end SaaS with no infrastructure to deploy or maintain, you can easily publish this to your support site or other channels like Microsoft Teams, so your customers or employees can use it quickly. Or you might want to further infuse your agent with additional knowledge by easily adding a number of different data sources from the knowledge page, including documents, SharePoint sites, Dataverse, and data from your CRM and ERP systems. With this, your agent is an expert, ready to reason over your enterprise knowledge. You can also easily add actions to empower your agent with the ability to execute various tasks and automation. Copilot Studio comes with thousands of connectors to allow you to connect with your back-end systems to create and leverage custom connectors. That's all you need to build an agent. Just add your knowledge, actions, and topics, and your agent will use generative AI to reason over them and respond to whatever your users may ask. What's more, agents can now work autonomously behind the scenes, not just chat-initiated requests. Taking action when a specific event occurs, like an email is received, or a new employee is added to an HR system. Copilot Studio covers the complete end-to-end lifecycle to build, deploy, and monitor and improve with built-in advanced analytics. Makers can view KPIs like engagement rate and satisfaction score with trend comparisons. You can also view your knowledge source performance, error rates, and customer satisfaction feedback for deeper insights. Copilot Studio can also extend and customize Microsoft Copilots. Microsoft 365 Copilot, Copilot for Sales, and Copilot in Dynamics 365 Customer Service, enabling personalized company-specific use cases with access to back-end systems that Microsoft Copilots don't have existing access to. Copilot Studio gives you the power to take action on your data, backed with the security you've come to expect from Microsoft. Agent building has changed forever, with unlimited ways to build and extend agents and copilots across a myriad of use cases, thanks to Microsoft Copilot Studio. Try it now at aka.ms/trycopilotstudio.
Great. So that gives us a broad picture. The key thing to take away here is that Copilot Studio includes a complete lifecycle for building, managing, and publishing copilots. You can get started simply by describing what you want to build, as you saw. You can add enterprise knowledge to your Copilot from your company websites, to your files, to your internal sites, to your structured data in Dataverse, Fabric, Graph, as well as any third-party sources to ground your LLM. And then you can instantly start chatting over that knowledge. You can add actions or expose APIs for the LLM to select and call as appropriate. And then you can publish to multiple channels and see performance through the built-in analytics and more. You can even decide what triggers your Copilot, a chat, or an event, or an API call. And importantly, this is a SaaS, so there's no infrastructure to deploy, no models to train, nothing. Your Copilot is instantly live and ready to use. In fact, we often build Copilots for customers during the course of a meeting, and they're live by the end of it for their customers, for their users to engage with. So what's new with Copilot Studio? On top of that core cycle, there are a lot of exciting new capabilities for us to share today. And I'll go through a few of them. First up is our new Copilot Studio embedded extension builder, which makes it even easier to make Microsoft Copilot smarter. You can basically, as a user, there's an optimized interface powered by Copilot Studio right inside of M365. Here, users can create extensions conversationally, and those extensions are immediately live to use or share with others. This makes creating and using these extensions for Microsoft Copilot and infusing M365 Copilot with new capabilities incredibly easy for all users. Let's have a look at this.
Copilot agents can supercharge every business process and build capacity for every individual and team, scaling your impact like never before. Now, with Agent Builder and BizChat, we're bringing the power of agents to you, right in the flow of your work. And we made them incredibly easy to create. Say you want to build an agent for field service technicians, and you want this agent to have access to all your product knowledge and be able to give you step-by-step instructions in real time. You open Agent Builder and describe that you want it to be able to reason over your product catalog and repair tickets. It's built in seconds and ready to use. You can edit and configure it, expand its knowledge base by tapping into resources like SharePoint sites or other IT-approved data sources. You can even update its name or image to align with your company's branding. You can now test the agent or hit create and you're done. And of course, the agent respects your organization's Microsoft 365 and SharePoint security permissions. Now your Copilot agent is ready in BizChat and you can share it with your team.
So the next area is one of the top areas that we get asked about actually, is AI quality and the quality of AI answers across knowledge sources. And this is a key priority for Copilot Studio. We're making a massive investment here with teams of hundreds of data scientists working on this area, continually updating our SaaS with state-of-the-art RAG patterns and the latest models. So there are three major areas of investment that I'd like to talk about. The first is updated models themselves. The entire AI answers pipeline, all the places where we use Gen AI, now runs on 4.0, with major improvements in accuracy and relevance and better ability to reason over context. In addition, by using GPT 4.0, agents can now reason over non-text elements in the knowledge source. So if you've got images and tables and diagrams, if you've got charts and all those fine print illustrations in that PDF manual, all of that will be used as a knowledge source. The second area is the quality of SharePoint answers, a very common customer ask. We've made significant enhancements to how we chunk SharePoint files and how we select the most relevant chunks, and this has improved the overall quality of AI responses by more than 40%. We've also shifted to a new semantic index search for SharePoint versus the basic lexical keyword search that was here in the past. And this creates a dramatic improvement in the quality of the RAG pipeline, massively improving AI answer quality. And last, the third major area of improvement is that customers can now directly control how their agents use the knowledge that they're grounded in. We have a new knowledge curation experience that provides visibility over what sources are being used, what kinds of questions remain unanswered, and what the accuracy of responses is. So you'll know this knowledge source is providing good answers. These are the kinds of questions that never get answered. What are your Thanksgiving hours? What new knowledge sources you need to add? It provides a way to filter and prioritize all your knowledge sources. And it even recommends additional knowledge from your organization that you might want to add to your Copilot. Let's have a closer look at this.
We are now giving you tools to improve your agent by bringing knowledge analytics right here within the knowledge page. With these insights, I'm able to see how often my knowledge is being used, the error rate, and track its answer rate. There looks to be an opportunity to improve the answer rate, and I can use the suggestions from the curator to see exactly how to do this. I can review the unanswered questions to see the root of the problem. There seems to be missing information about regulatory compliance. I can now leverage the recommendations here to see what data I can add that could help fill this gap in my knowledge. I see that I have a SharePoint with a repository of data around regulatory compliance, and I'm able to easily add it. Once it's added, I'll go ahead and test the same question that went unanswered previously. And as you can see, The agent now leverages this SharePoint information to provide a response. And with this new curator, you can do other things, like prioritize which knowledge sources will be used by marking sources as authoritative, and even configure and filter the knowledge source itself. Now, you not only have a view into the success and usage of your data, but you also have actionable insights and suggestions in order to help you improve it.
This is one of the most common asks that we got. Hey, how do I know that I've pointed it to a bunch of knowledge sources? How do I know it's performing well? How do I know that this knowledge source was any good? How do I know that the answers weren't obsolete? And how do I find the right knowledge to add into it? Well, all of that can be addressed now with the knowledge curation system. Next, understanding how the Copilot is performing is a common ask from customers. And we've added improved analytics that provide insights into how the generative system is working, as we discussed, which generative responses are working well, what sources are useful, which are not, and a lot more. Kendra, would you like to come up and give us a quick demo of this?
I would love to. Yes, thank you so much. Let me switch over. All right, yes, so I am super excited today to take you through our more modern and responsive analytics. You can see here, you can still select from predefined time frames that you'd like to review the data from. You can also create your own custom range up to 90 days now for better trend analysis over time. You can still access important KPIs like total sessions, engagement rate, satisfaction score, and you're able to see details just by hovering over the graph itself. Better yet, if this data visualization doesn't work for you, you can also switch to a bar graph and further leverage the information in a way that you'd like to consume it. You can continue to filter the information and see more details based on the outcome that you'd like to dig into deeper. And again, you can see additional details right here in the right pane around session outcomes by the topic itself, right? So you're able to see which topics are leading to escalations, resolve sessions, and abandonment rates. So you know exactly where you need to go to improve your agent. And as Omar just talked about, we now also have a knowledge section within our analytics. This knowledge section is the same knowledge section you just saw within the knowledge page that outlines the total sources used, shows you the error rate, and shows you the answer rate. And again, you see additional details that you can drill into in the right pane. So you can see by data source which sources are being leveraged the most and which sources are resulting in the most positive or accurate responses. And last but certainly not least, we still have user feedback here showing your satisfaction score. No longer do you need to switch over to a new tab, and you're able to see exactly the satisfied conversations or sessions, neutral and dissatisfied. And with that, I'll hand it back over to Omar. Thank you.
Thank you, Kendra. So, one of the core advantages of building on Copilot Studio is the compliant multi-tenant SaaS. It's PCI, high trust, HIPAA certified. It comes with a vast array of admin and governance capabilities. And we've significantly invested in this area. We continue to advance new security and governance controls. I think there were over 15 new enterprise-grade governance and admin features this year alone. And these include highly requested features such as more DLP controls to enable and disable various features, generative AI controls, single-tenant app registration, enhanced audit logs, purview support, network isolation, virtual network support for private networks, and a lot more. And one of the exciting things that we've added, as you might have heard from the recent Satya announcement, is autonomous abilities for agents. This is now in broad public preview, so all of you can try it. Now you can tell your Copilot to listen for and react to an event, not just a chat, and then use generative AI to cascade and orchestrate complex, long-running business processes, allowing it to act autonomously. For instance, an agent can now react behind the scenes when an email arrives and use generative AI to trigger the appropriate chain of actions in response. From understanding the intent of the email, to looking up the sender's account, to checking inventory, processing an order, and then taking the appropriate actions to close a ticket. Orchestrating and shepherding that entire process over days. And now all of that is publicly available. Let me show you a quick demo.
I've created an agent to help onboard new employees, troubleshoot hardware questions, and order new devices. Here, you'll see I've provided a description and instructions in natural language to define the types of scenarios I'd like this agent to support. These instructions are key to guiding the behavior of this agent. I've added knowledge sources and actions specific to onboarding and hardware troubleshooting. But now I can also configure autonomous triggers for this agent so it can run automatically in response to an event, not only when a chat trigger occurs. To do this, I'll start by choosing from any of the trigger options available, which align to your existing business processes or systems and applications you use today. I'll select a trigger to start when a new employee is added or confirmed to our database. With a couple of steps, I'm able to configure this trigger and select the table and the scope for the Dataverse record where this new employee information is being stored for my organization. With this new trigger added to my agent, it will now execute the appropriate actions asynchronously without me having to request any support directly. It does this by leveraging the actions I've configured and the instructions I've given it to welcome the new team member and order them new equipment for their first day. Let's test this new trigger. To do this, I'll simulate adding a new employee record to the Dataverse table by sending the employee information in the test pane. And I'm able to see how the agent identifies the right actions and knowledge and chains them together to follow the instructions I've provided. It first identifies the knowledge source for IT procurement policies and then welcomes the new employee. The key here is that the agent builds these steps on its own. They are not prescribed steps in any static order. It's determining in real time how to self-assemble these actions and find the right one relevant to this particular employee. To continue testing, I'll respond as if I were Miguel receiving this welcome message. And the agent continues to run, identifying the next step in the chain and leveraging the action to then list out all the devices available to Miguel. In addition to testing my new trigger, I can also view all the historical runs in the new activity page, giving makers insights into the autonomous actions for their agent. You now have the ability to review each agent run, handle exceptions, and make improvements. I'll drill into one activity run to show you what I mean. Here we see another dynamic plan that was created at runtime by this agent to execute this workflow for this specific new employee. We can see the connected third-party systems that the agent used. Clicking on the details of an action, we can further dig into the specific inputs and outputs for this action, which is invaluable for debugging the connected systems and APIs. We are also able to explore the conversation history to learn more and see how we can improve this agent's outcomes. It is now easier than ever to create an agent capable of handling end-to-end tasks asynchronously to streamline workflows, enhance productivity, and drive operational success across departments.
So that's a lot to take in such a short amount of time, but there is a dedicated session about autonomous agents on Thursday that'll go through this in detail, and there'll be a bunch of live demos. So I encourage everyone to go and attend that, and you'll see how powerful and how transformative some of this is. Okay, so the next most common thing that we hear from customers is the need for deeper, better integration with Azure AI. In particular, there are two common asks. Hey, I have a large set of Azure data, and I want to access it from Copilot Studio. Or I want to build my own custom model in Azure AI Studio and call it from Copilot Studio. And we've added support for both of these. Let's have a look. So the first is quite straightforward. Azure AI customers often have large corpuses of indexed data that's available to them through Azure AI Search, and customers can create their own custom RAG and prompt modifications in Azure to reason over it. Now, in Copilot Studio, customers can simply connect to that solution, use it as a knowledge source, and their Copilot will be able to respond without having to move their data or prompts or anything like that out of Azure AI services. It's just another knowledge source like anything else. As for models, Azure AI offers more than 1,600 models in their catalog and provides support for custom models, including domain-specific models, small language models, and custom fine-tuned models. And now, customers will be able to use any model they build or select in Azure AI and instantly use it inside of Copilot Studio. Let's have a quick look.
Azure AI has over 1,600 models and allows you to create your own. Now, you can easily use these in Copilot Studio. Let's say I have a model optimized for the financial industry in Azure AI Studio, and I want to use this in Copilot Studio to answer a financial-related topic. Here in my topic, I can simply call the model. I pass the user query to the model, and I also pass in a financial data variable that I've already gathered from the user. I can also provide additional instructions to pass to the model if I want. Now let's test this topic. As you can see, the agent leverages the custom financial model I added and returns the appropriate industry-specific information. With this, customers can use a variety of custom models with Copilot Studio, including domain-specific models, small language models, custom fine-tuned models, and more.
So these investments are part of our overall Better Together strategy with Azure, where you can start building your Copilot experience with Copilot Studio's SaaS service, be up and running in minutes, and then extend naturally, if needed, with purely custom solutions built in Azure AI. And as part of this approach, we're also excited to announce pay-as-you-go consumption billing for Copilot Studio, which will allow customers to use an Azure meter for Copilot Studio, greatly simplifying our billing story. And this is just a taste of what we're doing with Azure. You can learn much more about this at our Azure session on Wednesday. OK, the next exciting thing is our new Copilot Studio SDK and developer experience. Copilot Studio now comes with a corresponding SDK. So you have the tool, you have a matching SDK. You will be able to use it to extend the Copilots you build in the studio with code-first extensions, or to access Copilot Studio endpoints and agents programmatically. For example, you can use a Copilot to drive your application or other customer experiences. Say you have a kiosk that you want to interact with naturally, or an application that you want to embed a Copilot endpoint into, or perhaps you simply want to extend your Copilot with some code-first extensions. You can do all of that. You simply get started in the public GitHub and learn more in our developer session on Thursday. Now, another very exciting capability we're launching is native support for voice. You can now speak to the agents you build with Copilot Studio, not just chat with them. In fact, all of the great generative AI capabilities we've talked about so far are now also available for voice use cases. You'll be able to have a single multimodal agent for both text and voice responses across languages. And Copilot Studio also automatically enhances the speech recognition of users based on the bot's content. There's no fine-tuning that you have to do. It's all done automatically. And finally, you can connect any agent you create in Copilot Studio to any Dynamics omnichannel workstream and create your own telephony IVR system or 1-800 number to show you how this changes the user experience for today's IVR systems that we all have to interact with every day. I'm going to hand it over to Jamie.
Thank you, Omar. Hello, everyone. I'm here today with two really exciting announcements. Number one, Copilot Studio now natively supports voice capabilities. This includes advanced features that would be found in traditional IVRs, such as DTMF, barge-in, and custom speech models, just to name a few. Number two, with the power of generative AI, we can really transform and modernize that traditional IVR experience to something customers are going to enjoy. To begin, let's take a look at what a Copilot Studio experience looks like in our authoring tool. Just refreshing the view. Are you guys able to see that? Oh. 1 second. Maybe if I get out of the thing. I should be able to see it. Canvas? Thank you. Here is our canvas, our topic authoring canvas, where you can go through, and each node represents an action or turn you would take with the customer. So here you can see they can come in, be greeted by a welcome message, and then drop into a menu. In this case, we have a multiple choice menu where they can use speech to indicate their choice, such as branch hours or lost card, or they could press a number on their phone keypad to use DTMF signaling to interact with the IVR. Let's take a listen to this experience in a traditional IVR sense.
How may I help you today? Please choose one of the following options. You can press 1 or say branch hours, press 2 or say lost card, and press 3 or say apply for a loan.
What are the best rates on a 30-year fixed mortgage?
Now with that experience, you can see that up until that point, pretty traditional example, users pick things from the menu and you were okay. But as all of you know from dialing 800 numbers, interacting within the day-to-day life, once you say something off the rails.
I didn't understand that. Please choose from one of the following options.
That's a really frustrating experience. Now, with just a few clicks, I'm going to show you how you can leverage Copilot Studio to be able to harness the power of generative AI to completely change that experience forever. As you've seen previously in this demonstration, you can simply click the Add Knowledge button. You'd be presented with your different sources. And for this demo, I'm going to browse to a file that represents mortgage programs to answer the caller's question. I'm going to add this knowledge source. And then that's going to allow the generative AI LLM to respond, even though you didn't prescriptively author those things using Copilot Studio. Now, I'm going to try to attempt a live demo by placing a call using my phone, and we'll see how the agent responds.
Thank you for calling Ignite Financial. How may I help you today? Please choose one of the following options. You can press 1 or say branch hours, press 2 or say lost card, and press 3 or say apply for a loan.
What's your best rate available on a mortgage?
The best mortgage rate available is for the 5/1 adjustable rate mortgage, ARM, at 5.5% APR.
What about a 30-year fixed?
The best mortgage rate available is for the 5/1 adjustable rate mortgage, ARM, at 5.5% APR.
One more time. What about a 30-year fixed?
The best rate available on a...
Maybe that's our, we were having some topic issues earlier, but that's okay. As you can see, with the power of Copilot Studio, coupled with our omni-channel IVR offer from Dynamics, we can change the customer experience in the contact center forever. Thank you. Back to you, Omar.
So I'll be Jamie's witness that he was able to get that working this morning. But the interesting thing here is you really can just keep going because, I mean, the system doesn't really care, right? Whether it's a speech modality or a text modality, we understand this. If you typed in that question in the chat, you would get an answer. You might not get an answer if you're holding your cell phone to a lapel mic, but sure, you'll get an answer under normal circumstances. And you can ask multi-turn questions. Sure, we've all seen it, right? No big deal. But this makes the rigidity and the frustration of talking to an IVR so much better, right? And there wasn't much to do. You already had an IVR. You had to click one knowledge source and add a file to it, point it to the bank's website, whatever, and suddenly your IVR is a lot less rigid and static. So let me now try to bring together a few things. We just saw how we've added a native ability to interact over voice. And we saw earlier that with our SDK, developers can now take a Copilot endpoint that they created in Copilot Studio and embed it into a custom pro code application, such as a mobile app. Now together, if you combine this together, this enables some really interesting transformative experiences. For example, let's say you want to build a Gen AI-powered concierge experience embedded into a hotel app. Okay. So all you have to do is create a Copilot in Copilot Studio as usual. You go and you expose your room service menu and your hotel brochure and point at your website and your ordering APIs, just as you would normally do in Copilot Studio, as you saw in all the videos so far. Okay, great. And you end up with a Copilot, the usual Copilot that can answer questions over that corpus. But now, with the new SDK and voice capabilities, you can wrap that Copilot endpoint into an application. So when the user asks something like, what time is breakfast tomorrow, the Copilot returns, as it always does, the right answer, fine. And it returns the reference to the page the answer was sourced from. It always does that. OK, no problem. But now, the app can use that reference to automatically browse to the relevant page. OK? What's more, using the new voice channel, both the user's question and the response can be speech-enabled. And together, this enables an immersive multimodal experience. So let's bring it all together and see it in action.
What time is breakfast tomorrow?
Breakfast is served from 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the main dining area.
Can I get it delivered to my room?
Sure, here is the in-room dining menu.
Are blueberry pancakes gluten-free?
Unfortunately, no. Blueberry pancakes are not gluten-free as it contains all-purpose flour.
Oh, okay. In that case, please order bacon and eggs for me at 7:30 a.m.
All right. I have placed your order.
Oh, and one more thing. Can I get a wake-up call tomorrow morning at 6?
I've set the wake-up call for you at 6 a.m.
Each individual piece doesn't seem like, OK, fine, you have an SDK. OK, fine, you have voice support. OK, fine, the SDK can return the source. OK, fine, you can use the SDK to browse and render UX. You bring it together, you can build some truly transformative experiences. So let's shift gears a bit and talk about customers. There are already 50,000 companies using Copilot Studio to create their own Copilots across industries, departments, languages, countries. And these Copilots are producing measurable business impact. HP solves over 1.7 million customer inquiries per month. PayPal reduced their IT and HR help desk volume by almost half. And that was with less than 6 weeks of development. Rabobank automates about half of their calls to their contact center. Pets at Home are saving $1 million in costs. And there are countless other stories like this. And across all of these use cases, there are a few themes of positive customer feedback that come up over and over again. Customers love how quickly they can deploy their bots. PayPal, as I mentioned, went live in weeks. They love the significant ROI and cost savings they can achieve, and love how they can connect to their own knowledge sources and existing backends without having to move their data. And importantly, they love how easy it is to build a state-of-the-art generative system without having to train a custom model or dealing with deep AI complexity. With the Copilot Studio SaaS, they can just rely on Microsoft to continually optimize the AI and RAG strategy for each knowledge source to get the best possible industry-standard results. So if technology improves, the results improve. The customers love all of this, but they also need to keep tight control over a few business critical things. So things like returns or financial transactions. And they want to use traditional turn-by-turn dialogues for those. With Copilot Studio, they can do both. Generative AI, traditional dialogues, all within one system, no custom orchestration, nothing. And finally, they love how all of this comes with a geo-distributed, secure, compliant SaaS with a built-in enterprise-grade governance, security, admin controls, and all of that. So let me talk a bit about one customer example. Holland America has a sales agent that helps people pick cruises. And it can handle any kind of random question you shoot at it about cruise types, cabins, ports of call. They pointed it to all their knowledge sources, their cruise, brochures, marketing materials, and booking APIs. Now, this project had a planned ROI for a 3-year investment. But that agent generated enough uplift in sales and cruise bookings that they exceeded the 3-year ROI in just 3 months. Let's have a look.
Holland America line has been in business for 150 years. We've been sailing to all 7 continents, thousands of ports. We really pride ourselves on award-winning service. We want to make sure that we're able to provide that same level of service no matter where our customers engage with us. Booking a cruise is fairly complicated, and we want to make sure that we could make that a very seamless process on hollandamerica.com. So we decided to create a digital concierge service. We've been very impressed with the Microsoft Copilot Studio, its flexibility and its customization that we were looking for. Anna is our digital concierge. We had a lot of thought put into how she can feel personal. We didn't want Anna to be like any chatbot. We wanted an experience that really harnessed the power of generative AI. We wanted to make sure that the digital concierge could answer the questions for them, could really help them through that process. It really was trying to make sure that our crew member service was coming forward in a digital way. As customers are thinking through the process of booking a cruise, or if they're a booked guest and they're thinking about how they want to plan their journey on board, Anna's been able to provide all that information up front in a very natural way. We've been very impressed with the Microsoft Copilot Studio. We've been able to customize it exactly for our needs to make sure that we were getting the product we were looking for since the beginning. And what we're finding is that when customers engage with Anna, they're more likely to find the right cruise that fits their own need than if they don't engage at all. We're really looking forward to figuring out ways that we can make her more available and accessible to our customers throughout that customer journey.
Awesome. Okay, so I think we're getting close to time on our online session, but we have something special. To wrap up our session, I'd like to invite some very special guests to join us up on stage. EY has used Copilot Studio to build multiple agent solutions to help transform their daily work, and they're here to share their experience with us. Edwina, would you like to come up?
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Great to be with you today. So EY has the largest arrangement with Microsoft around Copilot. We have purchased 150,000 licenses, which we're rolling out to our people around the world. That's about 1/3 of our workforce. And so we believe that Copilot, M365 Copilot, is an important productivity tool for our people, particularly to free up time in administrative work so that they have the opportunity to do more creative work, more insights work, more transformative work with our clients. Now, we're not just using 365 Copilot out of the box. We are really heavily invested in intelligent agents, and Copilot Studio is an important part of that. So we think about intelligent agents that they really are the future of work, and we are building complex agents around the kind of business that we do, our core business, tax, accounting, consulting, and really transforming how people will experience and are experiencing our services, both for our employees, our people, and for our clients. So I'd like to invite my colleague Johan to join me on stage, and he's going to show you an agent that we built in tax. And I just note that Johan is not a developer, he is a tax professional, and I think you'll see some really impressive work that he's been able to put together by building an agent himself. So Johan, thanks. Good. I don't have the clicker, it's up there.
Hello, everyone. Let's see, I'm going to push through some slides. There we are. Thank you so much, Edwina. Imagine reclaiming up to 90 minutes of your day on tedious research tasks. What would you do with that time? That's the promise we've made with our AI legal research Copilot that we've built in Copilot Studio. This is a revolutionary tool because it enables our users, our tax and legal professionals, access to over 21 million documents, putting that at their fingertips. This is publications, legislation, internal know-how, templates, and much more. My name is Johan Vikström. I'm a product manager of EY Tech Collective based out of the Nordics. I'm passionate about using technology to drive innovation within the field of tax and law. Oops, sorry. I was not supposed to do that. Don't use a scroller during a presentation. There we go. I'm excited to share how we're transforming legal research for thousands of professionals using Microsoft Copilot Studio. EY is a knowledge-based company at its core. Our value lies in the expert advice we give to our clients. We put the highest standards on ourselves on quality of speed. And those are two key parameters that we're using to see if we're doing a good job or not. When generative AI was introduced in late 2022, our tech collective started exploring and see how we can use this emerging technology to both improve the way that we work and how we deliver our services, but most of all, how we can improve the services we deliver to our clients. One impactful use case that was emerging was knowledge engineering. We saw that our professionals were struggling in how they were leveraging information, how they were working with a lot of materials, and there was an information overload. If you've done legal research, you know there's a lot of different sources you need to sift through. And we asked ourselves, could we build a solution to help with that? Can we find answers to our users' questions faster? So that's what we set out to do. We envision a solution with generative AI that streamlines legal research, making it faster, more efficient, to access official and highly curated content from EY's largest internal document repository called Portal 1. But let me show you how we brought this to life with a demo. Users of the Copilot to begin their research journey by setting the context of the conversation. This allows the experience to be tailored to the different countries where it's deployed and fit the local needs of all our people there. In this example, I'm selecting our global document collection and our tax and law guides and surveys as the context. Our users can then pose their questions naturally, just as if they were talking to a colleague. In this example, I'm asking for the key takeaways of our 2024 EY Global Tax and Finance Operations Survey. The Copilot understands the user's questions and its intent and figures out what information they're looking for. It then crafts an optimized search strategy to find the most relevant information from Portal 1. And this is sifting through millions of documents in a matter of seconds. The Copilot then gives a comprehensive answer using generative AI. And most importantly, it's anchored in the content that has been provided from Portal 1. Finally, the Copilot provides direct links to the source materials so that our users can sift through the sources of which the answer was based upon. Despite its advanced capabilities under the hood, the interface is user-friendly, and it allows our users to simply have to make it an accessible experience for everyone. Central to its functionality is Microsoft Copilot Studio. That enables the conversational experience and the conversational orchestration of it. But it also enables a wider integration into our 365 Copilot ecosystem. We're currently working with Microsoft to enable this to our users, so we can place this experience not only in the experience that you just saw, but also in Teams or Outlook or any other Microsoft software that our people are working in. We think that that will be a significant improvement to the workflows of our users. The impact of this solution is profound, and it will be continuously. Tens of thousands of legal professionals now have millions of documents at their fingertips, and users are reporting significant benefits already in efficiency. Our solution is delivering immediate and tailored insights into official and highly curated content, And this enhances the productivity of our people, but in extension, also the quality of the service we provide. I'd like to end with saying that I think this solution represents a significant leap in how legal research is being performed and fundamentally changes how our legal professionals access and utilize the information they're provided with. And I'm incredibly excited to see what this means for the future. Thank you so much, and I'll hand it back to you, Omar.
Thank you, Johan. And I'm glad to hear that creating that solution wasn't taxing. So it's been a long day. So to wrap up, we have a lot more sessions today that you can double click on. As I said, you want to learn more about our Azure AI integration. We've got the Copilot Studio Azure AI integration session. Extending M365 Copilot. You want to take Microsoft Copilot, make it smarter with Copilot Studio. You have a session there. You have a session on autonomous agents, on the developer experience, and more. So try it out yourself at aka.ms/try Copilot Studio. And thank you.